Hi everyone, Josh Gilbert here and welcome to Stock Break, where I give an in-depth analysis on public companies in under 5 minutes, breaking down their fundamentals and potential valuation. So let's dive in. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Stock Break with me, Josh Gilbert. Today we're going to be looking at Nvidia, the golden child of AI and arguably the biggest winner from AI. So the big question now is, can this stock continue its astonishing run, or are there challenges ahead? Well, let's find out. But before we get started, a quick reminder that this presentation is for educational purposes only, should not be taken as investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instruments. So let's get started and on to Nvidia. Nvidia firmly deserves its place amongst the Magnificent Seven because magnificent it has been over the last year, 2 years, in fact. They've delivered huge returns for shareholders as they continue to reap the rewards from the boom in AI. They've shown us that AI isn't a passing fad, but a revolutionary technology that is making them a lot of money. Look, the business was founded in 1993, and Nvidia was the company that sort of founded and built GPUs, or known as graphics processing units. The business was known for this and for its gaming. This was the main revenue driver back past sort of 2019, 2020, but its data center business is now the driving force behind its growth thanks to AI. Look, what's really important, I think, here is that the biggest names in the world right now are using the best in the business, and that is Nvidia. The good news is that these big tech names such as Microsoft and Meta are all growing their spending, and a lot of that increased spending is on AI, and it's going straight to Nvidia. So if we're looking ahead to what we can expect from Nvidia in its upcoming earnings, well, all of these companies increased their capex last quarter. Shares have soared by more than 800% since November 2022, and it was the best performing stock on the S&P 500 in 2023, and is one of the top 3 performers in 2024. It recently overtook Apple as the world's largest company and is also set to be included into the Dow Jones Index, with Intel making way. Over the years, I mentioned it earlier, Nvidia's key revenue segments have changed. As of today, the main revenue driver is their data center business, which generated $47 billion of the $60 billion in total revenue in 2023. This is actually Nvidia's fiscal year, so that was 2024, so last year. Its Q3 earnings are expected to see total revenue of $33 billion, with data center revenue rising to $29 billion, growing by 100%. And if we look back to last quarter, record quarterly revenue of $30 billion. Again, really important to know that data center is going to be at $29 billion. So basically nearly its whole last quarter. That was up 122%. And again, data center revenue in the last quarter was a record $26.3 billion. But what's important is that has actually changed significantly since 2017, for example. The main revenue driver then was gaming. It pulled in about $4 billion in 2017. That same year, data center revenue was $830 million. This year, Nvidia is expected to generate $110 billion. So huge numbers and huge changes, and just shows the growth of AI in still what is a pretty short period of time. Net profit is also set to rise to $18.5 billion, with margins remaining impressive. A couple of things to keep an eye on will be its massive $50 billion buyback program. They still need to sort of finish that off, and if we get another buyback program initiated, and any updates on the new Blackwell chips, that's going to be really, really important. Look, its other segments are still growing, but at nowhere near the same pace as its data center revenue. The focus, as I say, is going to be to continue to deliver. The market will be expecting another increase to guidance, as it has done every quarter for the last remaining quarters. The market was a little bit disappointed. Last quarter, they didn't get a bigger beat on its outlook, but it's almost now at sort of unattainable expectations. But the bottom line here is that the long-term story remains intact. So we're going to have a quick look now at Nvidia's valuation. Look, it is slightly high, but it's not astronomical because it keeps delivering. It currently trades at a forward price to earnings ratio of 36 times, which is actually lower than its 5-year average, given its earnings keep rising alongside its shares. And recently, Bank of America believes and said that it is a generational opportunity to own Nvidia, with the growth of AI continuing, and given that they own about 80 to 85% market share. The Guru Focus Tracker sees the stock as modestly overvalued at current levels. And that is, if we look across the valuation metrics, they're all pretty high. So that is why we're sort of seeing that. But it also does rank the stock as 10 out of 10 in profitability and 9 out of 10 in financial strength as well. So a solid business that has grown at serious rate over the last few years. And to be honest, doesn't look like it's going to show any signs of slowing down. Given that sort of continued growth, analysts are still very bullish. They've kept their buy ratings. According to Bloomberg's analyst recommendation, Nvidia has 68 buy ratings, 6 hold and 2 sells, with an average price target of $152.92, which only signals about a 3% upside from current levels. Look, ultimately, Nvidia has changed the tech and global landscape. Its GPUs have become the new oil and gold, I would say, in IT. What CEO Jensen Huang and his team are doing at Nvidia is nothing short of outstanding. They're taking full advantage of the AI revolution and are continuing to deliver every single quarter. The question is, will it keep delivering? Only time will tell. Blackwell is going to be very important, but they've got to keep meeting market expectations, which, as we continue to see them making more and more money, becomes very difficult. Look, that's it from me. Thanks for watching Stock Break. Let me know in the comments what you think of Nvidia, and to stay ahead on all things investing, follow us on all podcast platforms. Just search for Digest and Invest. See you next time.